Hey all, Mark Slane with the United States Krav Maga Association. Today talking about what in the world happened to martial arts. When I was a kid, late 60s, 70s, martial arts, they were something else. It was karate and kung fu. That's about all I remember hearing about. But if you'd even had a few lessons in one of those two things, you were just a badass. And if you were a black belt and there were very few of them, oh my goodness, everybody knew you had to have your hands registered with the FBI as deadly weapons. I mean, we were just totally enamored. Back then, it was certainly an adult thing, and an adult male thing. Most people that were in martial arts had started when they were in the military, when they were stationed in Japan or wherever. Came back, and that's how they taught it. You know, blood and guts. It was rough. You whacked each other pretty good. You know, back in those days, we had Billy Jack, we had Bruce Lee, you know, we had all those kung fu movies coming from overseas that were dubbed poorly, but man, we loved them. Oh, we had, goodness, Bill Wallace, and we had the PKA going on ESPN, you know, Manny Cabrera and all those fighters. It was certainly a blood and guts thing. You know, we loved the Bruce Lee movies. We just grew up idolizing that. And what became of it? How is it now viewed, basically by most, as a kid's thing? You know, a kid's activity. Well, there were some very smart entrepreneurs who decided that they wanted to make some money on the kids market. So, with the help of what was going on in Hollywood, then I would imagine your Ninja Turtles and just all the things that came out. Your Power Rangers, the Karate Kid, of course, started it. People, you know, started flocking to, kids started flocking to martial arts gyms. You know, when I first started teaching it was, you know, I had a Korean master. I mean, I think I can talk on this subject. I was a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo. Now I'm a 3rd degree black belt in Krav Maga. But I had a Korean master, and I remember even then, I mean, I was in my 20s when I started that. It was all adults. We had a kid or two, and they were just kind of a pain hanging around the adult class. But it certainly went through a metamorphosis. It became a kid's thing to do. I remember when I used to try to do seminars or teach, I was told, oh, you can't do that here at this school or whatever because it's too violent. You know, it was still looked at as violent or Eastern religion. It's just amazing the job, again, that some entrepreneurs did to make it a kid's thing. Now, I mean, it's gone too far, if you, the opinion of a lot of us. It is absolutely a kid's thing. Adults don't want martial arts. Adults are running from martial arts. They look at it, again, as a little kid's thing to do. We've got 6-year-old black belts, for crying out loud. Things have changed. You know, the pendulum swung way too far the other way. You know, adults, they don't want something that takes forever. They don't want to wear those uniforms. They don't want to, you know, bow and call some 18-year-old punk sir. It's just, we're a different society. Instant gratification. We don't have the time to be disciplined to learn something that takes years, most of us. Again, you know, some of us were weird adults. We do like martial arts, but most adults, they're running from such. You know, the other problem is it's not practical. You know, martial arts, when they were you know, founded, they had reasons that they did things the way they did. You know, judo, to throw somebody to the ground while you stand, that was a military martial art. If you all have 100 pounds of, you know, armor on, if you can throw a guy to the ground, hey, he's like a turtle on his back. You can take out your, you know, your long knife, your sword, and do away with him. That's what that was invented for. You know, all the things I spent time doing, my horse stance. You know, I later found out that that's because peasants didn't own horses, but they were wanting to be, you know, in the military where they rode horses. So they stood in a horse stance pretending they were on a horse when they did their martial arts. You know, this didn't thrill me when I found out that's the reason I had to spend all those hours in a horse stance. Just like our deep front stance, that was designed for fighting aboard a ship where it's not real stable. They made sense in the time, okay, but now they're looked at as impractical. You know, the flashy stuff, the things that just are too complicated. You know, if it's complicated, it's not self-defense. Adults now want something that's going to get them in shape, and something that's easy to learn, easy to remember, that you can perfect pretty quick, or at least get pretty good, darn good at pretty quick. You know, basically Krav Maga. You know, I had martial art gyms back in the day. I had about 300 students, and most of them were kids. That's just the way it's done now. My Krav Maga gyms I ran in Ohio, I had about almost 750 members in 3 locations, and maybe 90 of them were kids. So, you know, wide interested adults. Real world self-defense, again, easy to learn, easy to remember, effective. You know, it's things that are targeted at what our problems are today. You know, if a gang decides to attack you, if you have a home invasion, if somebody sticks a gun in your face, you know, we have to have answers for these things because that's what's happening nowadays. So, you know, the Krav Maga, the way we run it is so full bore and so hard that it is a heck of a workout, But it's not meant to be like a cardio class. It is certainly self-defense. We're just going full out, full bore, learning the techniques, kind of secondary. The techniques are going to degrade massively under a real attack. You know, you got that adrenaline dump, you got fear, you got exhaustion. They're absolutely degrading. So why spend so much time worried about techniques? What we're teaching people is to go forward, to have a switch, to go forward. Their flinch reaction, go forward and do damage. You know, I don't know what just hit me, but I'm going forward and I'm doing damage. We do the maximum amount of damage in the minimum amount of time and get the heck out of there. So again, it's just, you know, people are seeking Krav Maga and other arts like that, other self-defense systems. I don't really call it an art. It's a self-defense system. It's kicking people in the groin. That's not too artistic. But people are seeking that for their own self-protection because it's a fun workout, because it doesn't take forever to learn. You know, in our gyms, we wear t-shirts, shorts. They call me by my first name. I mean, that's just what adults are seeking nowadays. So truly, not that martial arts aren't good for anybody. I mean, you can truly defend yourself with anything. What we are really good at is getting people to be able to defend themselves quicker than anything else. My martial arts that took years and years to perfect a technique, man, we're going to kind of show that technique and then just put it in context of go berserk, go forward. So again, looking forward to your comments, especially my martial artists. I hope we're all doing well. This is Mark Slane, United States Krav Maga Association.